Let's talk about this show. Everything's going to be okay. You were there last night.
Yes, we were
tweeting.
We participated in their tweet-a-thon.
And you've seen
with
this
the
show,
cast.
obviously.
I love this show. I got to see the show way back last fall because it was going to be playing at Autfest, and I was the moderator for the panel for this show and a short film.
Well, tell us a little bit about the plot, Shannon.
Okay, so the plot centers around a young man who is from Australia, and it's played by Josh Thomas, who is the writer-creator of the show.
Okay.
He is an Australian comedian who is very edgy.
Right.
He is a very edgy young man.
Okay.
And so the storyline is that his dad left his mom in Australia when he was young. So he barely knows his dad. He's met his dad a couple of times.
Okay.
Because his dad went to Los Angeles where he started a relationship, married another woman, and had kids with her.
Okay.
So this young man was living in Australia with his wife, or with his mother. But the dad in Los Angeles has said, please come and visit. I'd like for you to see your half-sisters because they're getting older. And he does have two half-sisters. They're both in high school. One of them is on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And she is played by a young woman who's on the autism spectrum.
Great.
So beautifully, by the way. So he comes to visit, gets into a relationship with a young man who's learning to be a dentist.
Okay.
This is a gay young man, by the way, Josh Thomas's character. And so there's that whole storyline about him falling in love with this other young man and what their relationship is like. But you've got the two sisters, and we learn in the first episode that dad is dying.
Okay.
And he doesn't know who will take care of the two girls.
Okay.
And he wanted to have his son there to have this discussion about who will take care of it, and he says, I'm going to do it.
Oh, great.
He is considered a very irresponsible young man who is not entirely capable of taking care of himself.
How old is he now?
So he's probably 30.
Okay.
And, but he's not good at adulting. And, and the show, the thing about the show is, how most shows you watch and it's like somebody will introduce in one episode, well, I'm sick. Well, then in the next episode, we find out the test results, and then, another episode, they start chemo, and another, and in season 3, they die. This is not how this show goes. Stuff moves fast.
So the father passes away quickly.
Oh, he's gone. And that's how everything in the show is. They bring something up, and it happens that episode. It's right there. It's fast moving, and it does not shrink from anything. So there was an article today.
The article about the girl with autism having sex for the first time.
Yes. And I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. And last week on the show, we had one of the young women, because there's a bunch of characters on the show. The character who is on the autism spectrum, she has her group of friends, and they are all actors who are on the autism spectrum playing these roles of these teenagers on the spectrum. So, I couldn't help. I got so nervous watching the scene because I've met this young woman, she's on the spectrum, and, she is talking about having sex, and then they start to have sex, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did they deal with this on the set? And what was this like, and what were the considerations? And the young actress that was here with us last week kind of broke it down because she's the consultant on set and broke it all down for us about how much respect there was and how slow they moved and how everybody got to say what they wanted, what they didn't want, and that she said it was just her character even had to participate in a kiss and a kiss and a hug and an embrace, and she was talking about that, and but let me just tell you, if you were looking for something to be like mamby-pamby about it, oh, no.
It's right out there.
They go there. And one of the things that I said when I was there last fall, I said, it's a little shocking. I got to be honest with you, it's a little shocking. And like characters say things and you go, did they just say that? And things happen and you go, oh, are they going to do that right now? And it's crazy because it's very clear from minute one that he's like, he's gay and he is not going to mamby-pamby about that. And they're going to talk about things that do not get talked about on television.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, we're going to go there. You know, we're taking, everybody's on the gay community bus, we're going to go there. And then here comes the autism bus, and he just goes there. There is no shrinking away from it. It gets discussed. You know how a lot of shows it'll be like, well, so-and-so doesn't have a formal diagnosis, and they kind of, you know, pass over it. Oh, no, 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 no. There are times when he will turn to her and he'll go, okay, so is this an autism thing? Help me to understand what's happening. Like, they are right there. And some of the things that happen with autism, it's right there. Then, you know, so I'm like, oh, it's you know, the gay bus is going, the autism bus is going, and then he brings the Me Too bus in, and then he brings in the interracial bus. They go there in this show. I think it's amazing. I know that a lot of people, it will curl their hair and they'll go, but you should watch it.
And we get this on Freeform.
Freeform. But we were going to talk about this article. The Guardian just the other day came out with an article about this show, and the title of it is Autism, Sex, and Consent. Everything's going to be okay. Breaks ground with a story that rings true. And, you know, I think it's worthwhile to watch. I got to be honest that I have not, Jem has been so busy because he's had so many things going on that we have not sat and watched it as a family yet, but I intend to have him watch it, absolutely, and I think he will think it's hilarious. It's very funny, but it's all, I don't think I've watched an episode yet that I haven't laughed and cried. In fact, I know that to be true. It's very emotional and it's very honest, and you just, I kind of just want to know all of them.
Right.
You know, the characters.
Right.
I've met all the actors and they're really lovely people, but it's so. I think that Josh Thomas is a genius. I'm just going to say that he's a very sweet guy too, but I do think he's sort of an evil comic genius because he makes you laugh really hard about something, and then like you're just laughing hysterically, and then he takes that left turn and you get your mind worked out, and it's very emotional. I mean, even when he's in the car with his dad in the first episode, and you know, he's like, so are we going to talk about this? And the dad's like, let's go get frozen custard. And there's a whole thing about that where it's, you know, because you've been through stuff in your life, in the midst of total tragedy, there's some very funny things that happen. Very funny things that happen. I mean, Chekhov always used to say that, you know, the difference between laughing and crying is 1 second.
Right.
And it's really good, you guys.
Okay, so we'll all have to check it out.
And I think that, you know, I would love to see the autism community supporting it because, you know, I think that Josh Thomas he was pitching shows here in the United States, and he did not need to include a character on the autism spectrum, but it became very important to him to do that. And then,
is there a personal connection to autism that he has? Do you know?
No, but there is now.
Right.
I mean, he said I've been seeing all these things, and that he had this germ of a story idea, and he was like, I don't think people are talking about this in the way that I wish that they were, but then he allowed himself to be educated, and he went forward and made sure that he had actors and actresses that were on the spectrum, that he has people on staff, that all of the actors have said that on set it is the most open conversation about what's happening for everyone so that everyone's comfortable, and that they've all been kind of amazed by it and what an amazing work opportunity it has been for them. And I think it really sets a tone, right?
Yeah.
For everybody who is going to be more and more. We're like, you know, how many shows are there this season that have characters that are
with
on
autism,
the autism spectrum?
that are played by actors with autism.
Yeah, I mean, and remember a couple of years ago when that had not been done?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you know, Kobe Bird went in and did The Good Doctor, and I feel like the floodgate opened. And of course, Kobe was there with us last night. He's now on Lock and Key, which if you haven't watched Lock and Key, oh my goodness, Netflix, you got to watch that. And he plays Rufus. And wonderfully so. He will break your heart. He is so delightful in it. But, you know, all these barriers have been broken down now. It's funny, I think that if they were to do The Good Doctor now, that, you know, and everybody loves Freddie Highmore, nobody wants to see him go away, but I think if they did it now, they would be talking about having that character played by somebody on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And in just 4 years, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Amazing.
It's new barriers being broken every day.
Yeah, so read in The Guardian, autism, sex, and consent, everything's gonna be okay, breaks ground with a story that rings true. Yeah, but man, it's not all packaged up for you nice and neat. Don't expect that. But expect to be taken on a ride, and I think it's an important show. There was a guy in the audience when we did the talk back who started a gentleman who started to cry. He said, "Thank you for making this show because I feel like you've opened up a door for us to have more conversations."
He was
about
on the
things."
spectrum.
No, I think he has a daughter who's on the spectrum.
Okay.
But he was like, I just feel like everybody got included, and I think that's how I feel about it. I'm like, oh, everybody going on those buses together.
Right, right.
And let's go on a journey with Josh Thomas, who is crazy funny, and the ideas in his head. Woo! Anyway, there we go. Hilarious. So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back with the fabulous Karen Nolte. Don't go
Talk about some new research.
Stick with us. Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.